Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this evening's guest moderator, Scott Feinberg from The Hollywood Reporter.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. I promise you is going to be a good time, and that's because for 20 years, the two guests that we have here tonight have been giving us a good time at the movies. Many of the most beloved movies, movies that people watch over and over again, and that have really aged well. And this year, they have given us one of the best movies of 2012. They worked together 9 years ago, as well, as you may recall, on a little movie called School of Rock. And so to have them back together for Bernie is a treat for all of us. So I hope you'll join me in welcoming the writer and director, Richard Linklater, and the great actor, Jack Black.
Check, check. Rick Linklater, ladies and gentlemen. Did they already say his name? Did you already? Yeah, one of these.
I'm wingman.
Well, guys, thank you for making the time to be here tonight.
Love lifted me.
All right. You feeling genius-like here? Genius?
Is this are we in the genius? Oh, I see some genius, yeah.
I want to begin by asking you two if you can talk about how you first met, because as we just mentioned in the intro, it's been 9 years since School of Rock, and I guess we'd like to know just how you first crossed paths for that, and how this one came about as well. Just, I actually understand, Rick, that this was on the radar before even School of Rock.
Yeah, it's true. This was Bernie's based on incidents that happened in the late 90s. So yeah, I had this story I was trying to make as a film, but we met, it was 10 years ago, about now. We were shooting School of Rock here in New York.
This is the
10 years ago.
This is the reunion.
Kind of, sort of. So 10 years, we just met. I had never met Jack. I was a fan, but we, got together on that movie and been friends.
It was really Scott Rudin that brought us together.
Absolutely.
He was the producer of School of Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought it would be good if we collaborated. And so we took a meeting,
did,
it was love at first sight. For me. I can't speak for Rick, but...
Well, Rick, I mean, I guess let's ask. What was it about Jack that you saw for that movie in particular? I mean, obviously it turned out so well, but what made you say this guy is actually the right guy for the part?
Jack on Bernie?
Well, first School of Rock.
Well, no, he was already attached to School of Rock when I came aboard, so I think he had to approve me.
Right.
And Jack didn't think, he was worried I took kind of a serious approach. I think you were worried I wasn't going to be that funny at first, but...
My first introduction to Rick Linklater was The Incredible Slackers. I don't know if anyone saw that.
Slacker.
Slacker.
Yeah,
Although there's a lot of slackers in the movie.
Yeah. Here,
God, I never get that right. That sort of ruins my whole story. I get the name of the movie wrong.
Who cares about me?
The thing about Rick, you gotta check out his movie Slackers. Next question.
Yes.
I guess why at that time was... Why did you go forward with School of Rock but hold off on Bernie at that point if it was already on your radar?
I was waiting for Jack to age like fine wine into his part.
That's right.
Bernie was late 30s, and, that was it. And Shirley was too young for the part, as was Matthew, so they all had to age.
Right.
8 or 9 years.
But Jack, was this something that you guys talked about? It was,
no.
Were you aware that Bernie was percolating?
No, I did not know this.
You didn't know you were aging into the part?
Rick's got a lot of
bullshitting,
secrets.
of course. I just gave it to him.
He's got he's planning out the movies he's going to make in 2025 right now. He's a very patient man with a long view.
Right.
And that's part of his genius.
So when you did team back up for this one all those years later, did you feel like you were sort of picking up where you left off? I mean, some people that have worked together multiple times say they feel like they have a shorthand in a way. Was that your experience?
Absolutely, and this had a huge music element to it, like School of Rock, so it was just fun. Different kind of music.
Right.
This was like, hymns and gospel, but it was, Jack brought the rock.
Was that fun for you to be able to sort of show off your musical side on screen again?
I do love to mix my music with my acting.
Yes.
I do. It is fun. And yeah, this was a great opportunity to do that with some music that I'd never really explored, gospel.
Yes. Yes.
And it was cool.
Not only gospel.
It's passionate music. It's beautiful, passionate music. It's not rocking, but it definitely can get you going. You know, you're singing about God, singing about the Savior. It's important stuff for those that, you know, are deep in there.
Well, we also get to see you in full costume for the Music Man.
That's right. Oh yeah, it's not just gospel. There's
That's right.
some musical theater,
Right.
which actually is closer to my roots. I did a lot of musical theater in my high school days. I was Pippin in Pippin. I don't know if you're familiar with that
The
production.
classic work, absolutely.
You ever seen Pippin? Ben Vereen was a big influence on me in my early days.
Well, we'll see a snippet of that scene in a moment. But I guess one thing that just blows my mind, and I guess for you've worked on some massive scale movies, but you tend to work sort of on a smaller scale. 22 days sounds to me like nothing to make this movie in, and yet that's sort of the schedule you like, right?
No, misconception. I don't like it,
Yeah.
but that's all you have sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I like 50 days like we had on School of Rock. But, you know, when you got 5 million, and that's just what we had. It's the indie world, so it's fine. We made it. Jack liked it.
I prefer it. I like to do a short schedule where you get to do a lot of acting every day. Because on the big budget movies like King Kong, I clocked like most of the time was just sitting in the trailer waiting and getting nervous, like, okay, they're gonna call me pretty soon, and you sit there for 8 hours just getting more and more nervous, and then it's time to act, and it's just like, you're so exhausted from a full day of fretting.
Right.
But when you're working on a little indie, there's no trailer time.
Yep.
You were acting, done with a day, tired but exhilarated.
Right.
It's better.
Yeah, I guess I had read an interview, Rick, that you gave somebody where you were saying that 10 years ago even, this kind of a movie would have had a much easier time getting a bigger budget, getting maybe a longer shooting schedule. What's changed in the last 10 years? Obviously, the economy sort of struggled, but you really feel that way 10 years ago even?
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood used to make films kind of like this, small comedies or off-kilter things, but they don't really do that so much anymore. They've just kind of outsourced that to the indie world, and you know, you can still get your film made, but you know, it's not the business the studios are in. But anyway, you guys don't want to talk about that, do you? It's
Well,
boring and a little depressing, but oh well, we make do though.
No, well, it was great,
Yeah.
and thankfully people really turned out. It did very well at the box office, right? Well, let's take a minute now to just see a sort of a making of featurette, and then we'll resume the conversation after that.
It did better than the Avengers in
Per
indie
capita or per whatever.
independent dollars. It's like dog years. You don't need to get as many of them to get a big hit.
Well, let's see how it came together, and then we'll resume.
All right.
So the movie is set. Movie is set in East Texas. Rick, you're from there, right? Is that?
Yes, I grew up there,
And-
Huntsville, Texas, which is south from Carthage.
I see. So was this actually also shot there?
Matthew grew up there too, by the way. He grew up in Longview, Matthew McConaughey.
Okay. And so did you go back to make the movie there, or was it?
We
sort of-
shot a few days there, but fortunately, where I live in Austin, Texas, there's an area not too far from it that looks like it. It's got a lot of pine trees, so that's all we needed. So we shot there mostly, but we did go to Carthage for a while and shoot there.
One thing that
We used all the people are from there too.
that was
Yeah,
was
all
where I
the-
was going. I have to say
The Greek chorus
Right.
of endless amounts of people. Yeah, that
these guys
a lot of them were from there.
You sprinkle them throughout the movie, and it is like it's perfect. These guys are almost, you know, I now know the answer, but I wonder if you could tell people, you know, watching the movie, you sit there wondering, are these guys actors? Because if they are, they all deserve Oscars. They're so, you know, you couldn't make up people like this. So can you tell how you came to them?
Well, some of them are actors. That's just it. It's all scripted. You know, it's made to seem like it's improv, but it was all scripted. I mean, a lot of them put their own, you know, twists on everything. But you know, just met a lot of really, I just thought funny, interesting folks, and could do those parts. I mean, we found some real gems.
Right. Oh,
Okay, baby. You know.
you got to see the movie if you haven't.
The scene at the end of the movie, if for those of you who've seen it, when she comes to visit you in prison, we worked that up like the night before and that day with her. I just liked her so much, and she was sort of hanging out. She was retired or something, didn't have anything better to do. So
This is the woman who
Yeah,
wants him to come do her funeral.
yeah.
She's got an amazing story though. Like she was Elvis's hairdo expert. Someone's got to make a movie about that lady too.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah.
But let's face it, the find of the movie is Matthew McConaughey's mother, one of the funniest
yeah,
ladies
came
I've
out.
ever seen. Yeah,
I've known her for years, you know, so
And she's
I
another.
called her up.
she kind of stole the show.
Yeah. Well, actually, I called up Matthew first and asked if it would be okay if his mom was in the movie because he said yeah, but I didn't tell him they had a scene together.
Right.
So, and he figured that out about the day before we shot it.
Right. You mentioned improvisation, and I'm just curious. I believe from your other movies, this is something you enjoy and you're great at. How much of that with a great writer are you allowed to do? How much of this is scripted versus improv here?
I don't think there was a lot of improv this time. I think I stuck to the script for the most part, right? Did I drop any golden nuggets?
No,
of
no,
genius?
you're additive.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Jack obviously is, keeps coming with the great ideas and the comedy and I don't know. We improved
Yeah,
quite a bit.
little bits here and
Yeah,
there.
sure.
No major plot
Always.
improvisations.
Yeah,
though.
no, but the essence,
Yeah.
a lot of great bits.
How about having in your movie and opposite you, one of the great living legends of the Golden Age, Shirley MacLaine? Is that intimidating, exciting? How did you guys work with each other?
Well, she loved Jack, so that made everybody's job easier. She has this great story that she's had. You're her third Jack. There's Jack Lemmon, Jack Nicholson, and now Jack Black.
Yeah.
But
But then she added a fourth Jack, her manager.
Yeah.
Kind of took
he took the
the
thunder.
sweet sauce out of the whole thing.
Yeah, screw her. Yeah.
But anyone who's seen The Apartment knows that she's the real deal. She's a true legend of the cinema.
Right.
And what a hot number. Back in the 60s,
That's right.
50s. You've seen artists and models. Some came running
Back in the
around
40s.
the world. 40s.
Okay, be careful
True.
now.
No, I mean, no, but
Just
no
a
one's
teenager.
had no one's had a career like her. I mean, who made
Still
who
going.
made had great performances in the 50s? Who's still in this century, this decade?
Still
Not many.
active, yeah.
Not a lot of people. I
Not
mean, that's a
many.
short list of actors. So that's one of the great screen careers, of
Yeah.
all time. Just
Yeah. And
Hands
still,
down.
still going.
She's still got it.
Yeah.
and
She's got
10
the
years from
glint.
now, she's going to be
right.
She's got the power.
bringing it. Yeah.
And when we first had our first read through of the movie, it was just the three of us, and she let us know, you think that she's just this bitch, but I'm not gonna play her like a bitch. I'm gonna play her sympathetic. I'm gonna play her. She's just misunderstood. She's mean, but she's just mean because she's not gonna be pushed around. And she was out to prove that she was not all bad. And that was a choice, because when you read the script, you go, okay, this lady's like Nurse Ratched, just pure evil. But she didn't want to play it one-dimensional like that, and I think it added a lot to the movie.
She found a tenth of a dimension to be likable, but
Yeah.
Right.
she's pretty awful.
I have heard
Miss
that
Nugent.
she in real life, Miss MacLaine doesn't likes to cut through any BS, and that you really charmed her by basically when the cameras weren't rolling, sort of assuming the same dynamic as your characters have on screen. So,
Yeah.
is that correct?
Yeah, that's what we were both kind of in character
Right.
all the
The
time.
whole time.
And that dynamic persists to this day. The last time I saw you guys together, okay, Jack, now you'll be picking me up in 30 minutes, and then you'll go. And she was kind of, you were
I
like,
helped
yes,
her to the
Shirley, yes,
car,
Shirley.
of
You were like-
course.
That's right. That's right. You're a gentleman. Well, let's look at a clip. I think it's sort of to understand this movie or the character Bernie. You have to see what he's dealing with when he how much he's willing to put up with for so long from Shirley MacLaine's character, and then it sort of begs the question. What's in it for him? Why is he suffering all this abuse, and what's the nature of their relationship? And so there is a question that comes up about the sexual dynamic that may or may not exist. So we're going to look at a clip of how she treats him, and then people speculating about what actually is going on between the two of them.
Proves it.
Yeah, no, I would have loved to. I wanted that to keep going, but okay. So let's dig into the question because I think it's. I just wonder, did you two ever sort of reach a conclusion? Is Bernie sexually interested in her? Is he asexual? Is he gay? Is like what actually is going on here?
No, they were just friends.
Just friends.
Yeah, but very close though.
Right.
They went everywhere together. He was her manservant, but he was there for emotional support as well. He was her only friend. She didn't have any friends. Not a very likable lady, apparently. But there was no sexual, exchange.
No, Bernie made that really clear to us. We visited him in prison, and Jack got an opportunity to ask him these kind of questions as died.
Well, I guess
He was very clear about that.
Could you guys talk a little bit about that prison visit because that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I mean, the opportunity to get to really pick the guy's brain. How was that arranged? And
That
what
doesn't
came of
happen
that?
very often. I asked Jack. You know, some actors want to meet the person they're based on, and some don't.
Right.
Sometimes a director will say, "I don't want you to," like I heard on Social Network, they didn't want him meeting those people.
Right.
But I put
First
it to
of all,
you,
I
and
just
Jack
wanna
was
make-
like, "Yes, I want to meet him." So we went there, and
Is it clear to everyone here that Bernie murders Marjorie? Just in case, is that a spoiler alert? It shouldn't be a spoiler. It doesn't happen at the
he's
end.
in prison, so something
Happens in the
happened.
middle, yeah.
Halfway through the movie, actually.
Yeah, so we met him, and I mainly wanted to just meet him to see him in person, see how he talked and walked, and get some clues to how to play him. But also, I just wanted to talk a little bit about why he didn't just leave. The main question when you read the story is, if she's so horrible, why don't you just leave? Why murder her? And the feeling I got is the same kind of feeling you get when you hear about any couple abusive relationship where, you know, the wife will murder the abusive husband. Why didn't you just leave? And it's not that simple. When you get stuck in a codependent relationship, those things can go sour really fast. And
Yeah, it was it's basically a portrait of an abusive relationship. It's just, in this case, the young man's being abused, you know, which is kind of rare, you know.
And if what from speaking to him were you guys able to conclude about why this guy who was very successful at what he was doing before, very loved, why give it up for something like that if it wasn't, you know, conventional love, I guess?
Well, it was never put like that. I mean, it's just, how does any relationship start? You just realize you're in it, you know. And she was the wealthiest widow in town. She's worth a lot of money, and they're traveling the world, and he admits to liking all that.
yeah, they had great adventures all over the world together. It just so happens she was super duper controlling and overbearing as well.
This is just maybe a strange question, but I'm curious. In a few weeks or months, you're going to be asked by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which handles the Golden Globes, to categorize your movie as either a drama or a musical/comedy, musical or comedy. What do you see it ultimately being?
Do they have a tragic comedy section?
It would be
Tragic
nice,
comedy.
right?
Yeah, we're definitely musical comedy.
Yeah, it's comedy.
We have musical elements, and we have a lot of comedic elements.
Right.
And is it that dramatic? It's more funny than dramatic, although it's pretty dramatic at times.
Yeah, definitely.
It's dark. It's dark comedy.
Well, Jack had never killed. We have a scene where he shoots her. You know, again, spoiler alert. He shoots her in the back 4 times.
Right.
And it was right before we shot it. I went up to you and said, "Have you ever killed anyone in a movie?" And you were like, "No." 40, 50 movies or whatever.
Yeah,
You haven't.
it was the first time. You know,
You did a good job, I have
It
to say.
is controversial in certain parts of the country, though. There was that thing you saw on the church bulletin board.
Oh yeah, some people don't think murder's too funny, especially the town that it's
Right.
depicting. Yeah, they let us know that.
And how about the?
Well,
What did
when
they
we
put
were
up on the
shooting
board?
there, you know, the churches have signs out front, and they always say something inspirational. Well, the day we were shooting, the church said, "Murder is dark, but not comedy." Okay. Yeah.
What is
Welcome
the
to town.
What is the town, the neighboring town or whatever, the one that the Carthage folks don't think very highly of? What has their reaction been? The ones that where the
Where
jury,
the trial
right, where
was.
the trial-
Oh gosh.
right.
Yeah, because
Just because I guess
growing
we should,
up in East Texas, I always call it the greater hick theory. Like we're a small town, but the real hicks are those people in the smaller town.
Right, right.
So the trial is in this St. Augustine, a much smaller town. So they all look down their nose at that town. So Danny Buck, who's the character Matthew portrays, he told me personally, he says, "Oh, you'll be fine in Carthage. Yeah, we'll all like that." He says, "Don't let your car break down in St. Augustine." Though, so.
because again, this Greek chorus just
Yeah.
dumps on those guys in a very funny way.
Yeah, well, they sort of, I don't know. I'm from there. I can make fun of them.
Oh, sure, no. So I guess, is there any way for Bernie to actually ever see this movie? I know they don't hold screenings for people on death row or in life in prison, but is there any way to get his reaction to what you guys have done?
We would love to. Texas prisons suck. I mean, they're one of the worst, if not the worst, obviously. But when we visited him, we talked to the warden, and she was going to set up this screening. We thought we had it. And then, when it came time, I just got a quick little note saying, no, we're not going to do that. So I'm still strategizing to get Bernie to be able to see it, maybe under some different legal guys or something.
Right.
We're trying to sneak it in there, but it is sad, that he can't see it.
Right. Well, and I've heard that your movie has sort of spurred an effort to a new wave of people who want to see Bernie get a new opportunity at a new trial or something, right?
I would hope so,
Yeah.
because it's one of those. There's all these different grades of murder, believe it or not. People are like, yeah, he did it, but he's already been in 13 or 14 years. It was definitely murder. It was like a temporary insanity murder with circumstances, which usually gets you about 25 years. And he's already served 13. He's a model inmate. It's not like there's so many people who are out who premeditate their murders and do all this. So you just see how arbitrary our criminal justice system is, and it's sort of a comment on that. So I'd like to see him get reconsideration.
Yeah.
The trial was kind of ridiculous, as the movie shows. He didn't really get much of a trial. He was sort of convicted before it even started.
Yeah, he didn't get a fair trial. So the question is, yeah, of course he deserves to do some time. He did murder someone after all, but the question is how much. And yeah, we think he's done enough.
There's always sympathy for people who just didn't do it, who were wrongly convicted. But you see a lot less sympathy or a lot less analysis of people who were who were wrongly sentenced, There's less, analysis of that. So this would be a case of that, if anyone cares,
I want to turn this over to the audience if we have any questions for these guys. I guess we will.
Just raise your hand. I'll bring a microphone, and I see one right here in the front row. We'll start all the way to your right.
Oh, yes. Hi, I'm a big fan of yours, and I just want to know how much does a movie like this would cost? About?
Is that to Jack or myself?
You know better than me.
It's about $5
million. Where's our mic?
If you're doing like a legit union movie, that's how much it costs. Because you hear about these little indies that happen for like $200,000. That's because they shot it on an iPhone,
and no one got paid.
and no one got paid because it wasn't union.
Yeah,
once you're union, you can't go back.
And you can't really. I don't
don't
want to
know,
make
are
a
you
Jack
union?
Shirley, movie with.
Yeah, you could probably do it for $5.
Our next question's right here in the second row.
Yeah, to Jack. Nice shirt. First of
Thank
all,
you.
yeah.
Chocolat. It's
yeah.
my friend's skateboard company.
Cool. Did you have fun in Kung Fu Panda? Did you have fun with like Angelina Jolie and Lucy Liu and David Cross?
Did I have fun with Angelina Jolie on Kung Fu Panda? Part 1 or 2?
Any of them?
Yeah, it's a different deal when it's a cartoon. I never even saw her. But she did give my wife a beautiful dress when we saw her at the junket.
Next question right here in the front row.
Richard, in film school, they tell us that in dialogue, to really directly state the plot is bad if it's too overstated. With the interview format, did that help you get plot along? Because people very directly state facts in their interviews. And Jack, I love you.
Thanks, bro.
So plot, yeah. I mean, I always saw all the people in the kind of interview format as there was sort of a narrative device to cut through a lot that I didn't want to dramatize. I just saw, I mean, each film, it's kind of like the writer, director, it's like how to tell the story. Million stories in the world, how to tell it. What's the most effective way to communicate it? That's always the challenge. In this case, I got this idea of a gossip circle. I'd never really seen that in a movie where, something happens in a small town, having grown up in a small town, the way people talk and you hear it refracted through their personalities, their opinions, and I just thought that was kind of funny. Kind of a funny way to see this. And it leaves Bernie kind of enigmatic. He doesn't really speak for himself. He is seen through everybody's viewpoint other than his own. He's a reflection of them. So I just thought that was an interesting way to tell it, but I don't know if that answers your question, but don't believe what they teach you in film school. I don't know.
Next question's in the back row right in front of you.
Oh, thank you. I got two questions, one for Jack and one for Richard. How was it like working with Peter Jackson as a director? And also for Richard, I want to ask you, was School of Rock already an established place, or it became a thing after the movie? Because I never seen a School of Rock school until I went to New Jersey recently.
You go first.
Oh, the most recent question, I'll go first. Yeah, I'd never really heard of a school. There is that guy going around saying he's the guy based on the movie. It was based on him, but we had never heard of him. But I think he's doing pretty well with that.
Yeah, Peter Jackson was cool. I liked following him around. Since I played a director in King Kong, my plan was just to follow him around and be Peter Jackson in the movie too. But I felt way too intimidated. When I followed him around, I started feeling like, I probably shouldn't be here listening to this conversation. And then I just bailed on that idea. Just went back to my trailer, all shy.
Next question, third row right in front of you.
Rick, I had a question about the interview of the townspeople. I mean, you said it was all scripted. How did you go about doing that exactly? Did you interview people in town and then distill the essence and then give it to the actors, or how did that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of it came from the journalistic notes that my co-writer, Skip Hollingsworth, he wrote the article that the story that I originally read, and I attended the trial back then and all that, but I read this article. He gave me his journalistic notes, and I was reading through it. That's where I got the idea for the Greek chorus of gossips, because what they were saying, just these people who kind of knew Bernie they were saying the funniest shit. So I was like, that's hilarious. How do we get that in the movie? And there wasn't really a place for it except someone saying it the way they said it. So it was just this conceit to cram a lot of that in there, and that would be the color of the movie. So a lot of that came from not them, but someone, 12 years ago said something remotely like that. And a few people actually knew him. There's some people in there who were the real people. So they often said things that were legit, but it was a mishmash. So.
Next one, similar spot right over here.
Thank you to three of you for coming out today. And Jack, are you religious yourself? And if not, what was it like playing a religious character?
I was brought up Jewish, and I got my bar mitzvah, and that's when you become a man, when you're 13 years old, and you can make decisions, and I decided not to go to synagogue ever again and not be religious at all, because I was a man, and I think that's fair. But I have, now that I have children, started to think maybe it wasn't all bad. Maybe I got some good things out of it, some building blocks for, ethics and whatnot. And I was starting thinking maybe we'll go back and They might be sucking me back in now.
Do you want to
Right
be
when
a
I thought I was free.
did the film want to make you be a Southern Baptist or Methodist?
Oh, did
or
the
something?
film make me?
I mean, the Lord was operating through you
to the
clearly
Lord Jesus Christ
in the movie. Yeah, I'm
Well,
talking.
you know, he was a really good Jew. That's how it started off.
Yeah,
If you really want to know what it was all about, you gotta.
that's what I mean. Yeah, come over to.
It's all the same book, right? Yeah, I'm not a hater. I don't mind people who worship the book. It's always trouble when religion mixes with politics, and that's how the world's going to end when the religious bombs start flying. I hate to put a damper on the proceedings, but religion always ends up with Armageddon. Let's face it.
Right.
Next question's in the front row.
This question's for Jack. With the internet developing as like a new platform for comedians and actors alike, are movies still your favorite comedic platform for humor and things like that?
I like playing in front of a live audience the most. That's the most fun. Like when I get with my band Tenacious D and we go and play in front of a crowd, that's the most exhilarating. But the films are always the thing that pulls me back because it's the opportunity to tell a story to 100 audiences at once, and you can do so many cool things with the camera that you just can't do live.
Thank you. You're beautiful.
Oh, thanks, man.
We have time for 2 more questions. There's one here in the third row.
Hello, thank you for coming out tonight. I'm a fan of both of you. I'm proud to say that I can probably recite both Kung Fu Panda and School of Rock line by line. But I was wondering, what was it like, the differences or the similarities of working in School of Rock, you're with a lot of younger kids, and it seems like in Bernie, there are a lot of older folks. And so what was the differences? What was that experience like?
What was it like? Sorry, I was going back to the religious question. What was it? School of Rock? What was it? Older folks and younger folks? School of Rock versus Bernie? It felt similar in that I was working with Rick. I wasn't really focusing on the age of the other actors, but yeah, that's on the set when you're working on a Rick Linklater movie. It's different than other movies because you're, better prepared. More stuff is well thought out and rehearsed, and yeah, I'm afraid that's all I have for you.
Old people, young people.
Old people, young people. God.
Film, old people.
I'm gonna go old people.
You don't have to be PG-13 around old people.
When they get old enough, then they start being like kids again, right?
Final question, all the way to your right, over here in the second row.
Hi, this is a question for Richard. I feel like your movies have been really diverse, from Slacker to Waking Life, through Bernie, and then back Fast Food Nation and everything, and School of Rock. I was just wondering if is there a common thread amongst all the different ones, or are you looking for something in particular when you're taking on a project?
No, the common thread is just, it sounds corny, but it's just a story you're trying to tell. Each time it's a different story. Jack and I are talking about musicals, I think in musical terms, I want to make a musical, but I don't know exactly what,
You guys might do one together.
Oh, I don't know. We just
Come on, Rick. Let's make another one
Let's
right
do
now.
it. Let's put on a show.
Come on.
Let's not wait another 10 years, dude.
Let's not. I'm ready.
That would be awesome.
So I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah, just, you get obsessed with the story and then how to tell it. And I got a bunch I'm trying to make. So, there's not much rhyme or reason. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think there's a theme that he's continually going back to? A lot of babes? Just a lot of babes.
Yeah, that's a good theme, man. I'm down.
What's wrong with that? All right, so the
Who's
moral...
the babe in Bernie? Is it? Okay.
Yeah. the moral of the story is you got to go if you haven't already, and even if you have, go check out Bernie again, and thank these guys as I do for being here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you once again, Richard
Thanks for
Linklater and
having
Jack
us.
Black.
Thank you.